Okay, welcome back to another video, and it's been a week since replay, which was really good. I've never been to Blackpool. I've been there as a child, but I've never been to one of the replay events there, and it really is quite different. It was more like the one at Wolverhampton, the revival one last year, which was a lot smaller than the one at the Trafford Centre, and I really quite like that kind of environment because you can get to meet people, and you're not trying to battle through crowds and things like that. So in the morning, I went there for the full weekend, travelling there and back every day. But on the morning of the Saturday, I met up with Erwin, Mr. Costado, and we spent pretty much the whole day going round. I think the first day was mainly going round shops and looking at the Oculus Rift and things like that, and playing a few games here and there. But the second day, I think we spent mainly, most of the time in the arcades and went back to the shops at the end. But the way I tend to view these events is I like to kind of strike while the iron's hot, so I tend to go straight for the shop and try and get some good bargains. And I did this time. So the bad news is I didn't take that much footage, so there isn't really that much to show from the event. So what I thought I would do here is mainly focus with this video, just focus on the games that I got hold of and do some gameplays of the ones that I've got. And pretty much all of these, with the exception of one, I've never played before. So what I'd like to do is almost like a pick and mix gameplay, and just go through all the games that I got hold of and do maybe 4 or 5 minutes on each one and chain them together. So, me being me and predictable, it's mainly 2D shooters on the 16-bit consoles. So the first game that I saw was Paranoia, which, again, there's no screenshots on the back because it's a PC Engine game. Well, some of them do, but it doesn't matter. It's a 2D shoot 'em up that I've been looking at for quite a long time on various auction sites, and the price tends to vary, and they had it going for a reasonable price, so I thought, yeah, I'll pick it up. And so that's in good condition, although it's mainly the game working that's the most important thing. The other one was Drift King 97, which is Shitoko Battle 97 on the Sega Saturn. And this game is the precursor to Tokyo Highway Challenge on the Dreamcast, but it's the successor to the Drift King games on the SNES, which I've looked at, or the Super Famicom rather, and some of the Saturn ones, which I have but I haven't done. So I want to do those fairly soon to follow up on the side-by-side kind of Toge racing games that I was wanting to do last week but didn't get around to doing. So the other two were, again, back on the 2D shooters, are Mega Swiv on the Mega Drive. And I saw this last time, and I don't know if you can see the screenshots, the lighting's not great. I saw this and I was talking with Darren Walsall, and he said, are you going to get this game? And I said, yeah, I might do. And I was kind of wondering whether to, I think it was about £7, and I was thinking, well, should I spend £7 on a Mega Drive game? I decided against it, and this was in October last year, and then when I went back, they had it there again, and I thought, I regret not buying it, so I just picked it up. So there you go. Xenon II, I think we're all familiar with this game. I've got this on the Master System, but I like the port. I think it looks very good. There are no real backgrounds in it, but I thought it was a little bit slow, so I want to play this on the Mega Drive. But both of these games, from what I've read about them, don't work at 60 Hz, so these will be played at 50 Hz with the jail bars and the slightly slower music. But I'm hoping that these will play at a decent speed, because Xenon 2 is Bitmap Brothers, so that'll run. It's meant to be played at 50 Hz, but I don't know about Mega Swiv. Maybe it is. I think that was a European only game anyway. Waffling. The other one I got was Lagoon, which is another Super Famicom roleplay that I can't read the text to, which I'm hoping to. Again, I'm wanting to learn you know, more Japanese, and it's just more exposure to different things. So I went to Sheffield Space Centre a few weeks ago and bought the New Type magazine, which is kind of like an anime popular culture magazine, which is all in Japanese, but it's one of those things, it's nice to be able to have something that you can read and try and translate as you're going along and hopefully remember things. So the other one I got was this, which is Obliterator on the Sinclair Spectrum. Now, I don't have a Spectrum. This was £1, but I mainly bought this, and that was the back. You can see the screenshots. I mainly bought this for the artwork. I'm not going to give the game away, but this is a particular artist from a particular genre of music which I like. So I gather a few people will probably know, and I'm looking at you, Kimball Justice. There you go. Yeah, if you can guess who the artist is and why I like it, just put a comment below, please. That goes to anyone. And the last one was this. This is a Game Age, which I've recently found out is more like a Game Genie. It has like a cheat menu on it. But I bought it to replace this, which was my universal adapter. So the idea with both of these is you take your Japanese or American Super Nintendo, Super Famicom cartridge, put a PAL one in the back, and the lockout chip reads the region from your PAL cartridge, but it plays a Japanese or American game. And the reason that I've got a second one is this one broke, and it broke the day after I did the video getting all the Super Famicom games, so I've been waiting nearly a month with this pile of games that I've not been able to play. And I was really wanting to do some gameplay videos of those, so now I've got this I can go back, but saying that, it'll probably blow up tomorrow. The other thing I had to do was replace the fuse in the Super Nintendo, and I wonder whether this has basically broken, short-circuited inside and fused the Nintendo, but I've cleaned it up, gone inside it, and there doesn't appear to be anything wrong with it. I've used a multimeter on it, but it just doesn't work. Other than Super Proteus, that game does, and I think the first, like the title screen of Mario Kart will play, nothing else, so it seems to be, I'll say intermittent, but maybe some games work, some games don't. It might just be a chip that's blown in it, but I've got the second one anyway. And that's it. So on to the gameplays. Okay, so this is Xenon II on the Mega Drive. I'll turn off the in-game music. It doesn't sound quite as good as the Amiga version from what I've heard so far, but, well, that's to be expected. It's certainly a lot smoother than the Master System version, I'll give it that. I think the colour palette isn't quite as good as the Amiga one, but it's a nice looking game, and it's fairly quick. Whoops. Yeah, there's no slowdown at all, whereas the Master System one's got a bit of flickering and slowdown. Can you make the screen go backwards? Yeah, you can. Oh! Blimey. This is a lot harder. Yeah, I really like the backgrounds on it, because you've got the parallax scrolling. Well, I say parallax, independent layers that scroll on their own, which the Master System version didn't have. I completely forget what these attack patterns are from game, kind of game to game. I think there's some games that you can play. Oh, which way is it? Left, I think. You know, games like Gradius, you play them and come back to them years later and you can remember the attack patterns. I think that goes for R-Type as well, but there are some like this that are really kind of hard to remember. Don't like these worms. Yeah, it's a bit harsh. Right, I think I'll leave it there. Next one. Okay, this is Mega Swiv on the Mega Drive again. The music on this is meant to be based on the first Terminator film. I don't know if that's true. Oh, there we go. Can I collect those? This is really quite smooth. I do wonder if I flick the console switch onto 60 Hz and kind of played it for a bit, whether it would, you know, muck up the physics or anything, but I think I'll leave it for the moment. This is meant to be played at 50 Hz. Yeah, I can hear bits of Terminator in there. Okay, so you get two kinds of weapon. So A is fire, B is like flame, C doesn't appear to do anything. Okay. Oh, okay, so you got bullet, plasma, flame. There we go. Yeah, I've played this only once on the Amiga, and I forget if it was this particular game. I think this is meant to be a port of the second Swiv game, because the first one had a different name. I forget what it was. But yeah, I quite enjoyed it for the 10 minutes I played it. Got it. Oh, that's kind of handy. Bit like Aeroblasters, where you get multiple pickups, but at least you don't have gravity pulling them down on this. Yeah, this all seems a little bit easy, but I think this is probably just luring you into kind of a false sense of security. I didn't see an option at the beginning of the game, but supposedly you can play this. You can play this with a jeep rather than a helicopter, but I don't know whether it's one of those games where you change vehicles every other mission, or whether you've got to complete the game and get a code or something like that. I'm not sure. Yeah, this is really quite nice. It's kind of relaxing to play. I think in the 32-bit era, a lot of 2D shooters became bullet hell shooters, and they're fun to play, don't get me wrong, but they're not relaxing to play. Whereas I think this, you can just sit back and, as long as you don't get shot too much, you can enjoy it. Kind of in a relaxing way. Little bit of screen tearing there. Yeah. I mean, as usual, I'm playing this on an LCD TV, and it doesn't look as good as it does on a CRT, so, but I don't want the flickering. I think it's the interlacing that makes a big difference too, and how the TV deals with it. Yeah, I think that... yeah, there's me saying it's not bullet hell. Right, I'll leave it there. Yep, so that was Mega Swiv on the Mega Drive again. I quite enjoyed that. Well, I enjoyed the other one as well. Okay, so this is Paranoia on the PC Engine, which is a 1990 game. Yeah, I saw a video of this by Electric Adventures, and it looked a little bit like, at least from the screenshots, it looked like the game Curse on the Mega Drive, and I thought, I better stay away from that. But after seeing the video, it plays really smooth. I don't know why it says first course. I think it means course. Yeah, this is why I don't do gameplays of 2D shooters that I've never played before. Okay, so again, it's the attack patterns which make these really hard. It looks like that crab thing's humping the thing at the bottom. Oh no! Yes, I'm going to continue. Right, I'll start that again. To say it's the first level, these enemies really are quite trigger happy. Yeah, I think this would class as being balls hard. kind of interesting to note that there's almost like a parallax scrolling thing going on. I mean, not at your Thunder Force 4 level, but the PC Engine isn't designed to do that. Ooh, what's this? So the second button rotates these around your ship. The first button's fire. So I suppose it's a bit like a take on R-Type. And speaking of R-Type, that's very similar to what you get at the first level. Oh, that's... it's like a giant purple turd. Can I go? Yeah, I can. It's sometimes difficult with these games to work out what's background and what's foreground. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's showing up on this very well, but there's a lot of flicker on those purple things. I don't know if it's an interlace effect that doesn't show up on a TV that's doing progressive scan. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's just flicker. At least these are bigger, so they're a little bit easier to see. Oh, looks like a rotten apple. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is meant to be one of those biological shooters. I mean, you get some on the Mega Drive like in Sector X and is it what was it called? Biohazard or something like that, which I've yet to do a gameplay on. Oh, cool. So you can fire down. Yeah, so the thing I was saying before was that it's nice that there's a little bit of parallax scrolling, or at least it's kind of faked a little bit. There we go. It's always shooting the eye, isn't it? Oh, I don't like these. I don't like this kind of cloud that is surrounding it, because you can't see where the kind of the enemy bullets are. Oh, I've got no idea where I am now. I've lost my power up. Nope, you can't touch those. Right, yeah, I think I'll leave it there. So I'm not going to play the RPG, so I'll finish with Shitoko Battle on the Saturn. Okay, this is Drift King Shitoko Battle 97 on the Saturn, and I'm recording this about 3 hours after the earlier games, and the reason for that is because I lost my SCART lead for the Saturn. When I moved my setup around, it's probably in a box somewhere, so I'm recording this to an RF lead. Right, so let's select a car. I don't know how many options we get. I'll probably just go with the default, I think. And for courses, they look fairly similar. I'll go for the last one. On the Dreamcast game, you only get really one city and you race it forwards and backwards, and then on the sequel you had like an extension, and on the Xbox one you had a bit more, I think. Okay, so this is in the day. I've turned the sound down because it appears that you can't turn the music off. Oh, that's a bit slow starting. But yeah, this looks pretty good. For like a 32-bit game, it's not as smooth as the Dreamcast sequel, but it's not bad. So C's accelerate, A's, oh, it does nothing. B's brake. Ooh, that's drifting. The handling on this is meant to be quite different than the Tokyo Highway Challenge game on the Dreamcast, which the handling's really weird. When you turn, it just understeers and slides into walls, but this appears to actually drift, which is what made the game a bit more attractive to me, because I really... concentrate. I really liked the Dreamcast one, but I just hated the handling on it. But the rest of the game. So, I think, okay. So it's not like the other one where you've got to flash your lights. it's an actual race, which is a bit different. So this seems more like the earlier games, the Drift King games that I've got, which I really should do a few gameplays on soon. Okie dokie. So I've got to do 3 laps, I think, on this. Some of them were 2, some of them were 3. Yeah. I'm enjoying this. The car is handling quite well. I'm not even playing it with the analog pad, it's just the standard D-pad. But yeah, it's not bad at all. I think if I was playing this at 60 Hz it would be a little bit faster, but I'm playing it on my stock PAL Saturn for the moment. My 60 Hz modded ones developed a few faults, and it sometimes gives like a black screen when it loads after like 5 minutes into the game, so I don't know whether it's something getting warm or what, but it's just weird. I need to get that sorted out soon. Crash. Yeah, there isn't really a lap counter on it. But what I'll do, I'll just pause it and do another track while we're at it. This is the last game I'm going to do today, so I can indulge myself. Okay, let's pick a different car. Yeah, I'll do the Truno. And course selects first one. That'll do. Ah, this is a lot more familiar. This is like Tokyo Highway. I don't think it's the same track though. I think it's a different... Well, I'm assuming it's Tokyo. Might not be. Yeah, this is a bit slower. Oh, that that drifts. I'll put it on the outside view. It's just so I can get a feel of the car on how it handles better before I put it internally. It's almost like a Ridge Racer kind of drift that it went into then. It's a bit weird. But yeah, so for anyone that's not familiar with Tokyo Highway, which is the sequel to this, the idea is you race around the track and you flash your lights at an opponent and you go into a battle, and it's almost like Street Fighter, and the idea is you've got energy, they've got energy, and for as much time as you're in front, their energy bar goes down. So it's kind of interesting how the mechanics work on that. Oh dear, crashing into buses. At least it's nice to be able to race on the left as well. Being from the UK, it's, I don't know, that's kind of good and bad, because I think on Burnout you're almost trained to drive on, in that game, is the wrong side of the road, which gives you credit for your boost and things. Yeah, I'm liking this. It is a bit laggy, but I don't know whether you get faster cars as you go on, because I mean, as a Truno, this isn't exactly the fastest car you can get. It's not Initial D where cars are really quick no matter what you pick. But yeah, this doesn't look bad at all. I think there's meant to be a PlayStation game, but I don't know whether it's a sequel to this or just a port. But I know the Saturn... Got to be careful how I put this. Depending on how it's programmed, kind of the team that's programming it, it is capable of some really good 3D, and games like Sega Rally and Knights, and even the Daytona Championship edition really do make use of the Saturn with its 2 GPUs or GPU equivalents, multiple CPUs and all that stuff. And if it's done right, you can get some really good games, even Virtua Fighter 2, which is fantastic. But a lot of developers didn't really get used to the hardware, and I think third-party games really suffered. But some of these racing games, particularly the Japanese ones, really have made good use of the hardware. So I remember a lot of PAL games not looking as good as the PlayStation equivalents, but yeah, this is good. I'll probably end up getting hold of this on the PS1 at some point and doing a comparison. Yeah, I'm not really seeing many other cars around, other than the the general traffic. So I don't know if this race is against other drivers or whether it's just against the clock. Yeah. It's kind of relaxing. Oh, excellent, you get a horn. I don't know if that's audible. I'll keep it in this, keep it in this view and just see how it kind of plays. Yeah, the game isn't too badly squashed because a lot of PAL conversions, put it the other way, Japanese games that were either PAL games that weren't converted properly or just imports tend to look squashed, but this isn't that noticeable. I think this is the end of the first lap. Right, I'll pause it there. I think I'll leave it. So this is Shitoko Battle. Yeah, so replay was really good this year, and there are a lot of stalls that I've seen from either last year or that Leeds market, which was stupidly cheap. But I think a lot of the stalls had reasonably priced games, and it's certainly in a lot of cases cheaper than importing it from Japan, because you've got to pay kind of postage costs and tax and whatnot. So yeah, I think this was a pretty good deal. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching.